Hello everyone, Zenero Gaming coming at y'all with another video, and we are talking Union Arena today, and it's because Code Geass Lelouch of the Rebellion Booster Pack Volume 2 is coming out soon, and you guys know how much I love Code Geass. It is definitely up there in one of my top 25-ish anime of all time for sure, and I can't wait for this set to come out. This is going to be a pretty detailed video. Shouldn't be crazy long though. I love Code Geass. All the different sets in Union Arena that I love a lot, I'll definitely give a lot more love to. But in this video, I want to go over all the different type of archetypes that are coming out in this set. What's new, what cards are getting support from the older set, and just give you guys a kind of overall idea about what this set has going on. Now, if you don't know, it does release on August the 29th, so that means that I think next weekend, yeah, so next weekend should be your pre-releases at your local game stores, so don't forget to go to your local game store and support them. That would be awesome. On the 29th, this is Volume 2 for the set. We are getting a 3-star serialized Zero card. This thing looks so cool. Oh my gosh, I've not pulled a serial card yet, but I would love to pull this one for lelouchlamperouge. Really cool. Love this art. So sick. I'm on the official Union Arena site. We're gonna go through this a little bit, and then I have a very cool slideshow I've been working on for you guys all day. It's taking a lot of my time. I had a lot of fun with it. And then, of course, on here on the same page, they just show you all the different box stoppers. We got our boy Rollo, the inheritor himself, Lee Chinki, Shao Asahina, Shogu Asahina, one of our new 4 holy swords, the new young guy to the crew. We got a Knights of the Round Gino, one of the new Knights of the Round. C2, obviously, the pizza goodness. And just back to the Rollo, but not too much on here that they show, just giving you information about the set. And I love the art here. Just these two being together is always awesome to see their relationship. So let's get into this slide, if I can get it to present for us. Okay, so Code Geass Volume 2. What is going on? New support for old decks and all brand new archetypes and colors. We have the new serialized card that I touched on here earlier. You can see this is the new poster art for it. I love this art a lot. And then we have the new box art down here in the left hand corner with the pack. I love the blue, purple, black kind of theme of colors because that is my favorite color combination. What are the new decks and colors? So the new color for Code Geass is blue, and we've seen blue in the card game be one of the best colors overall in general, just like generic stuff that blue can do. So I was very curious, what do we get in Code Geass? So we have a new blue Lamperouge kind of family deck with Rollo, Lelouch being on there, but Rollo is the one who gets his mech, being the Vincent Rollo fighter. Very cool mech. I love his color design. Very different than what Lelouch has going on. This card is really strong. This entire archetype, just to kind of give you guys a little breakdown, what are the key points of what the blue Code Geass Lamperouge deck, what does it want to do? It wants to tap down your opponent's cards, which we've seen before in the aspect of the blue bleach deck with the who does what, the lady in blue purple bleach, I'm blanking on her name, Rukia. There we go. I love Rukia. She taps them down. This deck kind of does similar things where you can kind of tap down your opponent's stuff and then hopefully be able to finish off their tapped cards and also keep their cards tapped, like tap the cards down and maybe blow them up, or tap them down and keep them tapped out throughout the whole time. Strong static cards, you can see here, this 4 energy 1 action point raid on the Rollo is 4,000 BP base, so really low to the ground. We love to see 4-drop raids in the card game. Really strong. And it just says, when played, choose the 1 character on your opponent's front line and switch it to resting, and it will remain set to resting the next time it would be switched to active. So an effect we've not seen in blue too often. Then it also says, activate main if on the front line, switch to resting, choose 1 character on your opponent's front line and switch it to resting. So this deck gets around big walled up decks that can maybe, you know, these low to mid-range decks have an issue getting over those big bodies, and Vincent helps himself out by being able to tap down another deck, a card that is giving you a problem. Just support from the Zero Albino let you, when played, you may switch to resting one active Order of the Black Knight Affinity cards on your front line. If you do, your opponent switches to resting one active character on their front line. The wording on this card is your opponent gets to pick, so very interesting there what you get to do. And then just the Rolo 4-drop, a very important card in the deck, saying when played, you may pay 1 AP if you do choose up to one character with an activate main ability, 3,000 or less BP, and 1 or less energy generation on your opponent's front line, and sideline it. So that is very, very, very specific. It's meant to counter some of the other stuff in the Code Geass archetypes in these sets, but still a really, really good card. You know, a lot of cards do say activate main, do some cool stuff. So you have to have activate main, 3,000 or less BP, and only generate 1 energy generation. So very specific cards that you can get over through. So what is the other blue deck that we're getting here? It is Chinese Federation coming in, and this card is crazy. This is one of the more exciting new archetypes we have here. It is a, you know, low to the ground, very aggressive deck. I know it says 5 energy here, but you can see here the Chinese Federation has the Gung-Ru mech, which is just a 3 energy, 1 action point card during your turn. If you have 4 or more other Chinese Federation affinity cards, this card gains 1,000 BP. So it can be a 4,000 BP raid target, which also lets you search. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal the 1 Chinese Federation affinity card among them, add it to your hand, place remaining cards at the bottom of your deck. You get to raid on top of this card, go find something, and you don't have to put anything back. We've seen before, now they've let it more and more searchers not have to put a card back. Obviously, Ling Jinqi being the main person, this is his mech, the Xinhu. He says during your turn, if Tianzi is on your field, he gains an extra 5,000 BP, being another 4-drop 4K body, just like how the Rolo has over there. And then when played, draw 2 cards and place 2 cards from your hand to your sideline. This deck does a lot of recursion. And then the 5-drop mech, it says, if on the front line at the end of your attack phase, sideline this character or place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. You're going to get value from putting cards from your hand to your sideline. Very interesting, they put this above the raid card, which is interesting because it doesn't, you know, matter too much, but it is kind of like the payoff you have to pay for having a 5-drop 4,500 BP, which will have impact as long as it's rated. Not for the turn. You will just keep the impact on a 5-drop body, which we've seen be really, really strong, especially a 4,500 BP body. I don't know if we've seen that in the game yet. A 5 energy, 1 action point, impact just forever, 4,500 on a body. But when played, choose up to 1 character with 3,500 less BP on your opponent's front line and return it to their hand. Choose up to 1 Tianzi on the energy line and switch it to active. This card is insane. Coming down, popping something back to their hand that's 3,500 less, getting your Tianzi back to active. Really, really cool. But the key points of the deck, what does it like to do? Sideline recursion. You can put cards from your hand into your sideline from your effects that you have to do, and then get recursion off of those. You can grab stuff back from your sideline. It has a high draw engine. You can see here, searching here, drawing 2, trashing 2. There's other cards that let you draw 1, trash 1. The character synergy is really, really smooth because the Li Jinqi is a Chinese Federation. The Gung-Ru can go on of any generic rated on top of Chinese Federation. The Xinhu, it can only go on top of the Li Jinqi character. Rushes down and finishes with impact, having the Shin on the board. Very low to the ground deck that can really, really control your opponent's board and push with impact. I think out of everything coming out of this set, this is probably the strongest archetype if you're wanting to get something out of the set, is going to be the Xinhu. I promise you this deck is really, really strong, and be on the lookout for it to shake up the meta for sure. Alright, what old decks got support? Plenty of them did. 2 of them being Ashford Academy and the Pizza, the red stuff. We have a new Valletta new. The card art is obviously amazing. Valletta is a beautiful character. Really cool art that they gave us here. She says if you have 4 or more event cards in your sideline, this character gains an extra energy generation, and she has step. She's a 3 energy, 1 action point, 3,500 BP, draw trigger in line. She's really, really strong because this gives you a character in the Ashford Academy deck and the Pizza deck in general, just to have this 3,500 body on the board, be able to go through, swing in, get some you know, early checks in, help keep you alive, and then move her back to your energy line sideline whenever she finally does need to be able to come down and give you that double energy generation. We also have the new C2, which just says when play you may place 2 cards from your hand into your sideline. If you do, draw 3 cards. So she lets you, you know, get those pizzas into the sideline if you need to, and then refresh your hand. And then if she is sideline, if you have 3 or more Pizza Affinity cards in your sideline, add up to 1 character card with 3 or less required energy. Other than C2, and add it to your hand. Sorry, that's a little small, hard for me to read on there. It's just, the way I did it on here won't let me zoom in. So that is support for, you know, Ashford in general. C2 being her, you know, just pizza deck. I love the art of that with the pizza going into it. And then this Cupid's Day is a really strong card. It's an event, it's a color trigger in red, and it just says draw a card. If lelouchlamperouge and Shirley Faynet are on your field, choose up to 1 AP card and switch it to active. This is a free draw in the deck. You're going to be running the Lelouches, you're going to be running the Shirleys in both versions of these decks. This card is crazy. Definitely one of the main cards you want to look out for in your Ashford Academy and pizza decks, because it's an event card. It's going to have Vince in there. Cupid's Day, love the art with our president having the really cool outfit on. And then Anya Allstream being another super strong card, 4 energy, 1 action point, 3,500 plus BP, so she's underneath that 4K BP threshold that we need to be at. And she says this character gains all abilities listed below if you have the required events, a number of required events in your sideline. 2 or more during your turn, she goes up to 4K, which is awesome. 4 or more, she has Impact 1. So this is another game finisher for the pizza deck and the Ashford Academy deck, being able to get that impact. You get new raid targets for pizza C2 deck. Cupid draw for consistency of both decks. It goes in both the decks. The Anya and Valletta add more power to both of the decks, especially just Ashford Academy in general. Both of them being very, very powerful cards in their own rights. So what other deck got support for Holy Swords? I'm so happy. This is a very fleshed out Volume 2 set. We got 3 more characters for the 4 Holy Swords, one of them being one of the new guys, because we know that Kyoshiro, you know, leaves that part of it, doesn't get to be considered a Holy Sword, but he is still in Order of the Black Knights in the KMF trait, which is really, really good. This Kyoshiro is the new one we get. It is a double energy generator as long as he's active. That helps you curve out your Kyoshiro Totos in the deck, which is really, really good. Love to see this. And then just having some really strong load to the body, other 4 Holy Swords, 2,500 BP on the Kotetsu, 2,000 on your 0-drop Shogu, and then 2,000 on the Nagisa Chiba, our new Holy Sword character. Four Holy Sword character. And we got 2 new mechs for him, right? We got Zangetsu, Order of the Black Knights, KMF. This goes on top of Kyoshiro Todo very specifically, and this card is really good. So 4 energy, 1 action point, 4,000 BP. It keeps raid. It's underneath the raid, underneath here, raid on top of Todo. It keeps the impact 1, which is so strong, always having that impact turn after turn on this deck that we know that can be very, very aggro. This deck is one deck that people slept on from the first set. I played with it plenty of times, and I have, you know, high roll my opponents, done some really aggro stuff, and now you're gonna need to be on the lookout for this deck, I promise you, because it is so much stronger. All 3 of these archetypes are gonna be really, really solid decks. It says when played, choose up to 1 to 4 Holy Swords Affinity card in your field. It gains 2,000 BP until the end of the turn. So it doesn't let him pick himself. It's a little interesting and unfortunate that, again, Zangetsu is not one of the Holy Swords, but you can pick up this other mech and give him the 2,000 because this is a Holy Sword Swords. This is the Akatsuki follow-up specs. This is the new mech that they get for the 4 Holy Swords. 3,500 BP, 3 energy, 1 action point there. Both get triggers in life, not raid targets, which is how they nerfed the deck. If this deck was raid targets in life, they would be insane, and you would just have 12 different raids you would run in the deck. Just go ham on your opponent. But he says it can be rated on any of your 4 Holy Swords cards. One thing to note, you can't do it on top of the Kyoshiro, but out of all the other Holy 4 Swords you got, all of them can take this card, and you have the other cards from the last set. When played, add up to 1 4 Holy Swords Affinity card or Kyoshiro Todo card with 2 or less required energy from your sideline and add it to your hand. Really, really good being able to get your Kyoshiros or your Holy Swords back. It's super awesome. Really good consistency piece for the deck. Be on the lookout. Both these decks, all 3 of these decks, very solid, very fleshed out decks now. And if there's one that people know about, it's obviously Ashford Academy getting more support. People will probably be more worried about that deck. But don't sleep on the C2 Pizza deck or the 4 Holy Swords, because these decks are powered up now, and I do think they are all going to be able to be played in competitive scene tournaments. What old decks got support? We are on that still, right? So green got a lot of cards in this set. I'm very surprised. I'm gonna go on a little tangent. You know, we haven't gotten the Hunter x Hunter Volume 2 set yet, but I already looked at it. I know that my Kurapika isn't getting love, but Suzaku got love in this second set. Suzaku, question mark. Why did he get support? I don't know, but he did. And it's really good. It's really, really strong. You got a new 2-drop Suzaku that has damage +1. It says, when attacking once per turn, choose up to one other character on your field with Knights of the Round affinity. It gains damage +1 until the end of the turn, which is really, really good because you can give it to your Lancelot here, which is really, really strong. Any of his cards that have Knights of the Round just immediately get this boost. And it's just when attacking once per turn gives something the damage +1. Insane. You got a new Nunnally, which is going to help curve out your energy. I don't know how crazy playable this card is going to be. It says if you have 4 cards on your energy line, this character gains an extra energy generation. And she says, when played, draw one, then place one card from your hand into your sideline. This is really good because you can cycle out through your deck faster. She's a 2000 BP body. You're going to play her down. And then if you have 4 cards, it helps you kind of curve out into that 8 energy you're going to need later on in the game. Obviously, the new Lancelot is a big deal because it's a 4 energy, 1 action point, which is insane. Suzaku has a 4-drop, a 6-drop, and an 8-drop of Lancelots, and they are all really, really good. This one helps curve the deck out. It obviously goes on top of your Suzaku. It has raid 4,000 plus BP, which is insane. They're giving it extra BP boost. During your turn, if you have 3 or more other Knights of the Round affinity cards on your field, this card gains 1,000 BP in impact. A 4-drop 5k impact during your turn, just over and over again during your turn. Spoilers, Suzaku is Knights of the Round, and you're going to be playing him in your straight up Suzaku deck, which is already crazy enough. You're going to have this effect online all the time. A 5k 4-drop, impact 1, damage +1, so it's gonna be another, it's gonna be damage 2 from the Suzaku buff on it. It is crazy, and it gets even better. This is the best card from the set. This card is cracked. Activate main. If on the front line once per turn, choose one other Knights of the Round affinity card on your field. It gains 1,000 BP till the end of the turn. So you have to choose something else, but who cares? Buff one of your other megs, buff a Suzaku, whatever you want to do. This card is crazy. I think that we'll see that this card goes up to a 4 of in the Suzaku decks, and I do think that now people will probably run this at a 4 of, and then 3 of the 6 and 8 drop in Suzaku straight up decks, letting the deck be able to, you know, have the high end that it wants, but also the low end of a 4-drop make, or just a 3-3-3-3 split on all of these things. The new 4-drop helps the early game in insane amounts here, and then Nunnally makes energy fixing easier. Maybe if this Nunnally is playable. I'm not sure too much how playable this card is, but I might have to test it in my deck. I have a testing buddy who I test against Suzaku, who's the best Suzaku player I know, Eddie, and we will see if this Nunnally comes up. But why does Suzaku get love but not Kurapika? That's just me being salty. Suzaku gets all the love, way more fan favorite, I guess, than Kurapika is for the devs. Knights of the Round also getting support in here. Mordred, the mech that is for Anya, is finally coming up, and this mech is really, really strong. Anya and her Mordred mech pilot combo is very new and very powerful. Anya is a 2 energy 1 action point step character, which can help you if you want to in a Suzaku package. You know, the Suzaku package for the Holy Knights gets put into the Holy Knights deck. It's just deciding if you want to play this cool low to the ground Holy Knights deck or play a more build 'em up version of your Suzaku Knights deck. The Anya has step. 3000 BP on a 2-drop body is really, really strong. You can just do 3000 BP rush with these kind of things. Her mech is really, really good, excuse me. Holy Britannian Empire stat key, which is good on here for the event card that gives you that impact. Knights of the Round KMF, right? Double blocker, which is really, really good. On a 3-drop, that's insane. During your turn, if you have 3 or more other Knights of the Round affinity cards on your field, this character gains 500 BP. So she can be a 4K during your turn. It's easy to get that 3 others on the board. And then when played, choose up to 1 other Knights of the Round affinity card on your field. It gains impact +1 until the end of the turn. Spoilers, Lancelot gives her impact, she gives him impact, and then Suzaku gives either one of them damage +1. Which is going to be really scary for your opponent to deal with. Absolutely same. It's a very low to the ground aggro deck if you try to build it just the straight Knights of the Round package. The top end would be the Lancelot, the Mordred being down here. I'm sure this is going to make so many different builds for Suzaku decks. I'm very happy for the green Code Geass players because now you can really build some pretty unique decks. You got your Searcher for Geno. He is the one that is the pilot for Tristan mech, which is really, really cool. I like this mech a lot because it reminds me a little bit more of some of the classic Gundam style mechs. It just says during your turn, if you have 3 or more other Knights around Affinity cards in your field, it gains 500 BP, so a 3-drop 4K, along with Mordred being on the board, and then just when played, draw a card. Super good here, just having another mech that lets you draw a card, 4,000 plus, 3,500 plus BP, 4,000 on your turn if you have your other characters. And then this Surge card is so good for the deck. It's a draw trigger in life, Knights of the Round. All of them being in here is really, really cool. Love to see this art with everybody on here. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Reveal up to 2 Knights of the Round Affinity cards among them and add them to your hand. Replace so many cards at the bottom of the deck. So we've seen this search card exactly word for word, essentially for the purple decks, for the Order of the Black Knights. They have the search card like this. Now green has a search card for them as well, and it's really, really good. This deck is going to be powerful. Suzaku is going to make a big splash back in the meta. I think Suzaku gets back in the top 10, top 15-ish decks for sure. He's already kind of been on the verge of that, getting in, sneaking in, you know, tops here and there, but I think that this makes Suzaku a top 10 deck. I'm really going to go ahead and call it out and say it. Suzaku is going to be a big problem for a lot of people, but green has not been eating good lately, and I'm glad to see it finally going to get some support here. Be on the lookout. Pick up these on your pre-release weekends for sure, so you're not having to worry about it getting spiked up in price later. My final thoughts. I obviously love Union Arena. It is so good. I love the card game. I love it when my favorite anime gets support too. Now, I love Attack on Titan. Everyone obviously loves Attack on Titan too, but it's not one of my favorites. I have seen it. I might build a couple decks up, I'm not sure, but Code Geass, I'm all about it. I love Code Geass. The new decks seem fun and fleshed out. Plenty of support to round out old decks is solid as well, which means that this is a great Volume 2 set overall. This is everything that we want as players in a Volume 2 set because it does things. It gives us some new cards. It gives us fleshed out support. Now every Code Geass deck that you can build is a solid, fleshed out, really, really good deck that I think that you could play competitively. 2-cost Purple Code got support, Asher Academy got support, 4 Holy Swords got support, Royal Knights got support, obviously all the new stuff going in, just touching up on it. These are some of the notable standout cards on here. The Lancelot obviously being the main card, gonna really, really impact the meta game for us. The other main kind of big impact card you probably have to look out for in general is going to be the Shinhu 2. I think that this deck is be really popular and powerful for people to play with. And then don't sleep on the lelouchlamperouge kind of mech deck. The Akatsuki new mech here for the 4 Holy Swords, and C2 Pizza deck and the Asher Academy and stuff. One thing I really didn't touch on was 2-cost Purple Code. Got some cards, I didn't add them on here, but now if you want to just build a 2 AP Lelouch and C2 purple deck, this set also gave them some support in here. And now if you don't want to worry about mechs, you only want to play Lelouch and C2 and win games, you can build a deck on that. I've done a deck profile on this before. I love this deck, and I'm glad to see it finally get some support because I just want to build as many Code Geass decks as possible. But I want to know what you guys are excited about. Please leave it in the comments down below. Which one of these cards do you think is the best card from the set? I'm definitely going with the Lancelot. I think it is going to shake up the meta big time, but I am so happy that all these Code Geass decks have so much support, and we can play every different archetype of Code Geass decks, and they all can do well, and I think they'll all be really, really good decks that you can take into your, you know, tournaments, local tournaments, regionals, and probably do pretty well with them, right? But I love Code Geass, so I will be making the video where I go over all the decks, give them a grade. I've done that before. I haven't done it recently because I haven't been as passionate about some of the sets, but I will do it for Code Geass for sure. But don't forget to leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me today. Peace.